Who gets my stuff when I die? First off, any joint accounts you have are transferred to the person that you shared them with. Then, the beneficiaries for your life insurance and pension are paid out. Everything past that depends on your will. When you die, your assets, possessions, and debts are all put into a estate. Then, using your will as a guide, your estate trustee will use your funds to pay off any income taxes or debts you owe. And then the remaining gets distributed based on your wishes. Simple. If you don't count probate estate administration taxes in the 8 to 12 months it takes to square things away. But that's with the will, and 52% of Canadians don't have one. So what happens then? It all goes to the government. Just kidding, but that's a common misconception. Dying without a will is called dying intestate. When that happens, you have no control over where any of your stuff goes. So if you want to give your money to charity or your Lego to a neighborhood scamp, none of that's happening. Enter intestate succession laws. These laws vary from province to province, but in Ontario, it's based on how related you are to someone. The chain goes something like this. If you had a spouse but no children, everything would go to them. And by spouse, I mean you were legally married, not just in a common law relationship. If you had a spouse and children, the spouse would get the first $350,000 of your estate, and the rest would be split between them and the kids or grandchildren if the children had already passed away. If you didn't have a spouse but had kids, it would be split evenly between them. If you had no spouse and your children had already passed, it would go to your grandkids. If you had no spouse, kids, grandkids, or so on, it would go to your parents. No parents would be split among your siblings. If your siblings had passed, it would go to their children. And if they don't have children, it would go to your next of kin. And then, and only then, does it go to this man, Stan Yantha of Sault Ste. Marie. But he's dead, so it goes to the government. Whatever the arrangement ends up being, an estate trustee is still needed to distribute the assets. But if you die intestate, there's no one assigned to do the job. And that's when a family member can apply, or the courts can assign a professional to do it. Either way, it's an expensive and lengthy process. And this is why it's so important to have a will. In Ontario, you can use a will kit, go to a lawyer, or write it yourself. Whichever way you choose, make sure you assign an executor and list all of your things and who you want them to go to. The more official, the better. Because before even a loonie is distributed, the courts are going to want to verify the validity of the will. So lawyers, witnesses, and notaries speed up that process. Handwritten holographs, not so much. Remember, writing your will isn't jinxing anything. It's about expressing your love, gratitude, and your wrath from beyond the grave. Thanks for watching this episode of Knowledge Gap. If there's other things you feel like you need to know as an adult but don't, let me know in the comments and I might make a video about it. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.